This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a 5 on a deep center. Robert going back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Adolis Garcia sends one the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's at the wall. Legend Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season.
Julio with an absolute nuke out to left field.
It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
All righty, everybody. Welcome to A's Cast Live. It's a Friday. We got happy hour before the Athletics take on the Minnesota Twins. We got a great show for you. Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro League Museum in Kansas City, is going to join us. Rick Woodfield, obviously the game there was historic yesterday. We will get into that with Bob. Ken Korach, the voice of your A's, is going to stop by. Lawrence Butler is going to be here. So LB is going to come up. We'll get a little law time, and then we'll have the Mark Kotsay show for you. So we've got a big day. We have a great show. But all of a sudden, hijacking this thing out of nowhere is Road Trip Mike. Road Trip Mike, who, by the way, one of the great friends of A's Cast Live, and our post-game show, the A's Clubhouse show. They are doing a documentary on his life on the road. It's become so big. There's cameras on us right now as they're going to document your time on the road here at the Coliseum. You all of a sudden have become a big deal.
Well, the only reason I'm a big deal is because of A's Cast. Many years ago when we started talking about the trips and talking about baseball and love of A's, you named me Road Trip Mike, and you gave me the energy, the excitement, and the enthusiasm to push to go see more games. So the reason I am actually going to, like last year, 60 games, the year before 50, it's because of you. This year it's going to be all 81 games, and they have decided they want to document some of it. And my first question was, let's get Towny, the man who started the adventure.
So when you become this big star after all of this, will you remember us here at A's Cast? Will you still remember where you came from?
Oh, I'll remember where I came from, because it's not going to be hard with Towny and the Commander and Dallas Braden reminding me of where I started. But like I told everybody and my friends and everything, when I got out of bed this morning, I was Mike. And when I go to bed tonight, I'll be Mike. And nothing is going to change, nothing that exciting. I just want to show the love I have for baseball. And if I can get anybody excited about the game of baseball, then this thing's all worthwhile.
Well, and the thing to watch you travel around the country, and how this really started with you calling the post-game show, and I was always fascinated by all the things you did when you went to a city. It wasn't just going to the game, to all the different cool things, like I think Chesapeake Bay, where you called us from the boat. I'm on a yacht in Chesapeake Bay, and that's really how the Road Trip Mike thing started. But your love for the game, really your love for this franchise, this team, no matter how well we're doing, you're always backing this franchise, and this franchise has always meant so much to you.
Well, I'll tell you. And it goes back to my first days. I remember seeing the A's in the 70s. And I feel, when we lost Ray, he would come down and talk to me before games. This organization develops a type of person that makes you want to root for him. They're good people on and off the field. So it has been my pleasure, my honor, just to be able to experience this. And as I get to know more people and get to talk with them, and that just makes my life so much better. And to go on these trips, and if I can give advice to one person about seeing someplace or experiencing something they never thought they would, that's my goal. But the A's, number one. I want them to know when they look over the dugout on the road, I got their back. because I care for this organization. I care for those kids when they run out on that field. I get to watch them, and I don't care where it is. And that is the greatest gift I get every day. I get to see my A's play.
And it's just not at the big league level, because you have followed a lot of these kids throughout the minor leagues. And one thing that I always love about your journey, and we can talk about it for the cameras, our cameras here, the cameras over here for the documentary, is the fact that even when guys leave the A's, you go follow them. So once you're an A, you're always an A. And there's always that feeling, as we know, that players have a special bond with this fan base. So they may go on and play for other teams, and they maybe even the minor leagues.
Absolutely.
You go and find them, and you stick with them.
Oh, yeah, that's important to me, because once you're an A for life. Marcus Simeon, Robbie Grossman, those were great guys here. And even better, I'd go see them. Ryan Noda, I just saw in El Paso. I saw Elba Law in El Paso. I try to get to every aspect of A-ball, high A, double A, and the triple A to see our players every season. There's a guy, Will Simpson, for the Lugnuts, that is going to be here. Real good guy. So you go see him, and you just want to watch him play baseball. You want to watch him be athletics. You want to see him grow into it. And I've been blessed with the opportunity, and it has been the thrill of a lifetime.
Did you feel blessed when you took the picture with the Chihuahua in El Paso?
Absolutely.
The fighting Chihuahua?
I took pleasure in sending you the Chihuahua dog that I ate.
Yeah.
Survived.
You survived it.
And survived until 2 a.m. Yes, it was a great time.
One of the things that we've always loved having you, whether it's on this show or it's on the post-game show, on the clubhouse show, is talking about the history of the Athletics. Of course, you're wearing the old school jersey now. We're honoring the 1974 World Championship team, the last championship of the three. The A's won 3 straight. There's only 2 franchises in the history of baseball who have won 3 straight World Series.
Yeah.
Of course, that's the Yankees and the A's. You lived it. You love these guys. We're going to honor them. We got to honor them because of their age. And at this point, maybe the last time we honor them as a group. But when you talk about that era of A's baseball, and let's talk about 74 where they're going for the three-peat, what'd that mean to you?
Oh, it was everything. You watch these players and you sit, and we had a black and white TV, right? So we were watching a black and white TV, the old school where you had
like an antenna,
the rabbit ears, and we had to get up and change the station. And all that. Yes, we were doing that. And because I was the youngest, I had to be the one up changing the channel and messing with the ears. I stood like this one time with the cave.
Was that in the caveman days?
Yes, it was, but it was before technology. But you
didn't talk into your remote and change the channel?
No,
okay.
I didn't get that kind of love.
All right.
But what I did get was a love for seeing those guys play, and the passion and the enthusiasm. They went out there and they played. And when they were actually celebrating, it still touches me to see them celebrate like that, because I have the record. And I listen to it from time to time just to go back to the 72, 3, and 4.
Google
World
it, kids.
Series.
It's called a record.
It's a record.
Vinyl, you put it on a record player. You got to Google it.
Yes, but you can hear a replay of that World Series, and I can't listen to it enough. The history of this ball club is it's just the wonderful thing you get to follow. If you get to see and meet and watch these players from the 70s or just talk with one. I love talking to Ray Fosse. I got to meet, on the back, Raleigh Fingers, and he took the time to talk with me. And the only concern I have, the only one I have is, let's retire Campy's number. Campy Campaneris.
All right.
Got to be retired.
You want to start a campaign right here, right now?
Right here, right now. He leads in most categories. And if I had somebody I wanted to bat in a tough situation, it was Campy. Campy was the man. And, I would love to see his number retired before we leave Oakland.
Before we let you go, obviously being on the road, always representing the A's, talk about the reaction you get in all of these stadiums, because it's funny how the A's, all the things that we have going on, the issues that we have going on here in Oakland, there's a lot of them going on right now, especially in politics. But when you think about the A's, their history, the 70s, the late 80s, even into the early 2000s, the win streak, you had a best-selling book, Moneyball. You also had a movie that was up for an Academy Award, Moneyball, that had one of the biggest actors on the planet in Brad Pitt. So the history of the A's, there's the uniforms, the stories. There's a lot of history. Talk about how you are received at all these different ballparks.
You know, it's funny how it's changed over the last couple of years. There was a time like last year, we would go to games and people would say, oh, we feel sorry for you. We feel this, we feel that. This year it's been different. What they're saying is, I love that jersey. I love those colors. They're not going away, are they, when they leave? They want to make sure this is a standard that keeps baseball going from here and forever. That's the approach we're getting. You know, it's no longer we feel sorry for you. We're worried about you. We're concerned about, one, your team plays good baseball and they're tough against us, but also it's the tradition. People do not want to see this tradition go away. They love the Athletics. They love the Oakland Athletics. And that's the approach that I've been getting a lot and talked to from a lot of people. And, you know, it's a blessing to me, you know, and they say, what are you going to do next year? I live 7 minutes from the ballpark in Sacramento. And my answer has been the same for the last several years. In the shortest period of time, those kids are going to come running out that dugout, and I get to watch them play, and I don't care where it is. And that's the way I'm going to perceive it, live it, and continue with it until the day I'm no longer with us.
Well, you know what? You know you're becoming a big deal when you got a film company following you. That's when you know. Speak softly and carry a film company with you. That's when you're a big deal.
Well, Towny, I had to do that to get on your show. I had to bring some game. I wasn't going to come up here and just walk up with a hat in hand, and hope to get on your show. Because you big time. Australia, Alaska, Alabama, you name it. Everywhere I go, I listen to A's Cast. And that is the greatest thing for me, because two things happen. One, I know people are caring and looking out for my A's and listening to you. And two, I can listen to you anywhere.
Anywhere. And, of course, you can watch us anywhere. So that's the great thing, is what we've provided for all the fans out there is a platform that no one else has in Major League Baseball, and will follow us just like the colors will follow us anywhere we go. A's Cast will have you covered. Yes. Road trip, I am honored to be a part of this.
Well, it's my pleasure, and it was important for me for you to be a part of it, because what you do for the A's and the way you support them, the way you are truthful about them, everything is what touches my heart, because it means the world to me to listen to you with this club and the way you take care of them.
Well, number one thing is I want to get this documented, so when you do become a star, you can't big league me, because I can always pull this up and say, hey, remember when us little guys were just on the ground floor of your rise?
Okay, and then I'll go back to the big league thing. He hasn't gotten the van yet, taking a ride.
Hey,
okay, so he's big leaguing me still.
I have been to the van. I will take a ride in the van.
Hey, the door is always open. You, the commander, the door is always open on the van.
The great Road Trip Mike right here on A's Cast Live.
We're almost halfway through baseball season, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the newest product of the season, Topps Baseball Series 2. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family, grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Throws and set. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
A's Cast Live continues from Rickey Henderson Field. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, it's great to have Bob Kendrick back on the program, the president of the Negro League Museum, who we've had on before. Bob, I got to tell you, we've had you on before where I've talked about my journey there to your museum. Second to none. I promote it all the time, where I also talk. Don't forget, right across is the Jazz Museum. It is a wonderful experience. But Rickwood Field, what we got to see on Fox yesterday, what we got to see, all the festivities, MLB Network for days. Just now that you've had a chance to soak it all in, just how special and how proud are you of how the whole event went down?
I'm exhausted, but Chris, it's a gratifying level of exhaustion. Man, it was magical. I couldn't be more excited about what transpired over the last several days there in Birmingham at that cathedral known as Rickwood Field. What an amazing platform to celebrate the heritage of our game. And of course, as it turned out, to reflect on the life of the legendary Willie Mays.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Willie Mays. Obviously, all of us have a story with him. I got to tell my personal story with him. You know, my grandfather was Bob Elliott, who was the most valuable player of the National League in 1947. And actually, Jackie Robinson grounded out to my grandfather in his very first at-bat. Later on, would play with Willie Mays in New York, and it's how I got to interview Willie Mays. He granted me that interview. He was so special. When we think about Willie Mays and the fact that, he passed right before, it was just so tragic, but also with his son and a chance to still celebrate him, to mourn the loss and celebrate him, and to celebrate the Negro Leagues, all the players, to see all of the former players come out. It was just great. But how was it in the town? That had to be such a big moment for this town to have all the celebrity, to have all the cameras, to have all the awareness, to have all the attention. How did the town receive it?
Well, I know the mayor of Birmingham was ecstatic because his great city got a lot of love over the last several days. But you could tell that the people of Birmingham was equally excited, and they did a wonderful job hosting this event along with, of course, Major League Baseball and Major League Baseball's Players Association. Yeah, it was special, man. I have been just brimming with pride the entire time. I got down there on Tuesday, and when I walked into the ballpark, I felt like I had been transported back in time.
Wow.
I never went to a Negro Leagues game, but what we saw Thursday night, I certainly believe that was the atmosphere of a Negro Leagues game, man. It was just so exciting. And then to see all of those former, recently retired African-American ball players, the CC Sabathias and the Curtis Grandersons and Ryan Howard and Albert Pujols, all these guys come in to be a part of this. That made it even extra special. And then to have nearly 50 former Negro League players in attendance. And yeah, it was just the perfect scenario.
You talk about being transported in time, and I want people to know you've dedicated your life to this, the history of the Negro Leagues. And for you to now feel like you go back in time and to now feel like you attended a game and what it would have felt like just personally, what were your feelings when the game was going on? Once again, you've dedicated your life to preserving this history and to now feel like you were in this history again.
Well, your thoughts automatically go to those players who are no longer with us, and particularly those who I was so close to, mainly my friend Buck O'Neill. And I thought about Monty Irvin and Minnie Minoso, Ernie Banks, the late, great Henry Aaron, how proud they would be to see that the league that gave them an opportunity to play baseball in this country when this country really didn't want them to play baseball, how it is being acknowledged and recognized and embraced. So you naturally think about those kinds of individuals. And it was just a very special feeling of pride. As you could well imagine, it was a little emotional, particularly the ceremony when the players came out on the field and, to see Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Bonds and, of course, Michael Mays, the son of Willie Mays. And I was with Michael when he got the news that his father had passed. I was taking a group of Negro League players to meet with the minor league teams who were playing in a game on Tuesday night. Michael had me mic'd up. He was filming me for a project that he was working on, and I noticed that he had left rather abruptly because I'm still mic'd up, and his camera guy was gone as well. And then maybe a half hour later, I got the news from them that Willie had passed away, and for me not to say anything at that time. And obviously you want to be respectful to their wishes because they needed time to get the family together, prepare a statement before this went out to the news. So I sat on this for several hours before the news actually broke. And it was a kick in the gut, as you could well imagine. I mean, Willie Mays is such an icon. And as I've said several times over the course of this week, there's just certain people who are not supposed to die. For me in Kansas City, it was the late, great Buck O'Neill. And even though, Chris, we know that no one's going to live forever, but if someone was going to live forever, it was going to be Buck O'Neill and it was going to be Willie Mays. And so it, naturally it hurt. But when you say the name Willie Mays, how can you be sad? Yeah. You can't. He brought so much joy to so many people, particularly those who got to see him play. And he exuded joy. Those images of him walking the streets of Harlem, playing stickball with the kids. Who does that? Willie Mays. So that's why he was so endeared by so many. And so, no, you can't be sad, even though it was a sad occasion, but we had the ultimate platform to celebrate his life and to celebrate those Negro Leaguers who are still with us and to remember those who have passed on alongside Mr. Mays.
Yeah, I mentioned it a couple of times on this show and also on my post-game show where I said the great thing about our game is that our true greats, they never leave us. They'll be with us forever. The other day, Babe Ruth was in the baseball notes, right? So Willie Mays, Ted Williams, Hank Aaron, Joe DiMaggio, these guys live forever. Baseball history lives with us forever. And from it's been happening for all these years, and it will happen for all these other years to come. If anybody talks about a five-tool player, they will compare him to Willie Mays.
Willie Mays. Yeah.
But the interesting thing is Willie Mays, the very little time he played in the Negro Leagues, he was just a baby. And I think about all those men who came out last night. Those men were, if Willie Mays passed at 93, we were looking at people in their these guys were in their mid-90s. I just talk about the reaction of these players getting their due, these men that are in their 90s.
What we wanted you to know first and foremost is how much joy they had playing the game. And I know it's easy to look at the hardships that they had to endure. And Chris, those hardships were very real. They had to overcome tremendous social adversity. But they didn't dwell on that. They wanted you to know how much joy they had playing the game. Now, would they relate to you some of the things that happened? Of course. But as the great John Mule Miles former Negro leaguer, lived in San Antonio, would say, I'm not complaining, I'm just explaining. And there's a difference between the two. But they wanted to relive all the great experiences they had playing this game. And I was in the same hotel that they were in. And they would come down in the lobby. And I can tell you this, there was some lying going on over those several days. And you know what? I was right there in the middle of them, telling lies right there with them, man, and delighting the entire time.
Well, here's something that you're going to love. Tonight, we're giving away the Satchel Paige bobblehead. 59 years old, 80 days. He pitched in Major League Baseball. 59 years and 80 days. Truly amazing. Satchel Paige, that A's fans are going to be taking this bobblehead, Kansas City Athletics in the rocking chair. I knew you'd appreciate that. It's going to be big tonight. Let's end on this because I know you've been very busy. What this means for the museum. Once again, for me, having been there multiple times, knowing what this museum means, all of this attention, I think, helps because you will preserve the history of the Negro Leagues forever. If you want to know and that you got to go to Kansas City, it's just not for the barbecue. And also, like I always like to mention, I always like to promote the Jazz Museum right next to you guys.
From us, absolutely.
Yeah, you can buy one ticket to get you into both. So, but how great is this? The promotion, and how good is this for helping promote and market your Hall of Fame, your museum?
It is one of the most substantial platforms that this museum has ever had. I got back today from Birmingham, and the minute I walked into the building, people were coming up to me. Oh, we saw you on such and such show. We saw you on the game last night. You know, that level of recognition and awareness. And man, it comes at the optimal time. We just announced plans to build a brand new Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. So all this heightened interest and awareness and recognition of why this museum is so important, I hope will go a long way in helping me raise that $25-30 million that I'm going to have to raise to build this new museum. So no, it is a substantial platform, and the momentum around Negro Leagues history and this museum is absolutely soaring. And man, I'm relishing in what we're seeing and just super excited. And I got to say one thing about that beautiful bobblehead. And the guys over at the team has already said they're going to send me one here for the museum. Satchel was believed to be 59, as you said, which means he was likely closer to 69 than 59. And of course, he pitches 3 shutout innings in that game against the Boston Red Sox, giving up 1 hit in that game. Great trivia question. Who got that hit off old Satchel? Carl Yastrzemski.
Wow.
Yaz gets a double against the old man. Satchel left him at third, shut down everybody else over 3 of the most remarkably pitched innings in baseball history, again at age 59, which means he was likely closer to 69. And I had the chance recently, I'm in San Francisco, and I got to share that story with Mike Yastrzemski about his grandfather getting that hit off of Satchel. But we both shared a laugh when I told him that Satchel had faced your grandfather's daddy 20 years before that.
His great-grandfather? Wow. Generation. I mean, it's amazing. All the people Satchel Paige faced through the years. It's truly amazing, the history. Bob, it's hard to put words around it, how special it was, how great it is for your efforts. Thank you so much for taking the time. We know you've been doing a lot. I know it's the day after, but truly it means a lot here to A's Cast. Of course, there's anything you ever need, we're here for you. And I'm always here to promote your museum because it's second to none. Kansas City, everybody thinks about the water fountains and the barbecue. But when you look at museums, you throw in the World War I museum, Kansas City is a great museum town.
It really is. It's a great town, a lot of wonderful things happening. We're so proud that we're one of the great many things to do when you come to visit Kansas City. So the welcome mat is out for A's fans to make their way here to Kansas City. to come see and obviously I'm biased, I think the best baseball history museum anywhere in the world, that being the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum.
Great stuff. Thank you so much. You be well, and we'll be in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate everything.
Great stuff. Yeah, that was special last night. Major League Baseball put in like $5 million into that stadium. And if you do ever get a chance to go to Kansas City, it is such a treat that the Negro League Museum and the Jazz Museum are in the same location. For now, I didn't know he was going to build a different museum, but they're in the same location. And when I was there, would have been 2019. I think it cost me $15 to go to both. But, I mean, first you go, I mean, the Jazz Museum, I did a quick run through, but the Negro League Museum, that's where I talk about. I walked in and you're going through this timeline. Next thing you know, you hear Vida Blue. You immediately know Vida Blue's voice and the great Marty Lurie as they narrated a story there. But you can get lost in there for hours. So if you're ever in Kansas City, make sure you check it out. But baseball last night, and I wanted to see the ratings, and it got a good rating. So definitely a lot of baseball fans for a Thursday night as the NBA Finals are over. Stanley Cup is not till tonight. A lot of, I think, non-baseball fans showed up to watch the broadcast, which is always the job of baseball, to tell the history of the game, even though there's going to be some hard truths there, to tell the history of the game and to promote the game. And that's exactly what they did. And talk about promoting. Come over here in the jersey. What we got for...
This is what we're giving away on Sunday when we're honoring the 1974 team, which we're going to talk to Raleigh and Joe Rudy and Gene Tennis on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it.
My friend Raleigh Fingers.
Your good friend. The only person's ever given someone a phone call in the hotel.
I don't think I've told that story. Have I told that on this show?
Probably not. I mean, we've all heard it because we were all there, but... Well,
so for fantasy camp, fly in for fantasy camp, and the Saturday night I'm going to do up on a stage at the hotel. They're going to have all the campers there for dinner, and I was getting on the stage to do a Q&A with Raleigh Fingers. So Raleigh wanted to talk about it. So I told him, I told Dietra, I said, yeah, of course, talk with Raleigh about it. So assuming that, and I know Raleigh was at the ballpark. He was making his way back to the hotel. I said, just let me know. I can meet with him at any time. So at that point, we're in January, obviously, for fantasy camp. It's NFL playoffs are going on. So I'm just sitting in my hotel room on the bed. I'm watching the playoff game. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the phone in my room rings. Now, I don't know about you, but it has been a long, long, long time since my phone has rang in my hotel room.
Or just a landline overall. I mean, how many people are calling your home?
Been a long, long time. So I remember like looking over going, why is the phone ringing? Because usually think if the phone's ringing, if the hotel is calling you, something's wrong.
Most likely, yes.
Usually your room, you're too loud. But this is, I mean, I'm just sitting there watching a football game. So I walk over, and it's almost, it's like ancient history, right? Like you haven't done it in a long time. So I pick up the phone. And I'm like, hello? Hi, Chris. It's Raleigh Fingers. And I'm like, Raleigh Fingers is calling me on my hotel landline. And I ended up having like a 20-minute conversation, talked about all the stuff, stuff that he wanted to get into, and we had a fun conversation. And also the whole time I'm thinking, Raleigh Fingers, Baseball Hall of Famer, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, is calling me on the phone. How cool is that?
I mean, when he told me that, it was awesome because like we left. Our boss Delaire and I left because you had to stick around to do the events with Raleigh, which is awesome. And I remember one of the first questions I asked you was, did he introduce himself as Roland or Raleigh?
It was Raleigh.
Okay.
It was Raleigh.
Because you were like, if he was like, hello, this is Roland, you were like, who's Roland?
One of the best stories he told was about the little girl who came up to him at the airport and was all angry with him.
Why?
She thought he was Captain Hook.
That's pretty good.
Think about that.
I mean, the mustache.
She was not thrilled, and like the parents were like, no, he's not Captain Hook. It's Raleigh Fingers.
I wonder how many times he's been mistaken for Captain Hook
by the kids. it's these guys, the world's different because on one of our days off, I took my kids down to Disneyland, like a little congratulations getting into college. And it was a Sunday night flight after we had a day game. And we flew down on Sunday night to Anaheim, and on our flight was Reggie Jackson. And Reggie Jackson, gets onto a Southwest flight to Orange County, and hardly anybody recognized him. And it was like, this guy used to be one of the biggest celebrities in the country. I mean, when when Reggie Jackson was Mr. October, and there's a candy bar, and he's been in movies, he's been talk shows, all the different television shows. I mean, Reggie Jackson, the straw who stirs the drink, was an American sports star. Now at 76 years old or whatever he is, something around there.
Yeah, 75, somewhere in there, mid-70s.
He's flying on a plane, and most people did. And he walked through the airport. Most people didn't recognize. I didn't want to say anything. But it's like, yeah.
You should have looked at him and went, like the straw stirring.
Straw that stirs the drink, or Naked Gun.
Yeah.
But we're going to be honoring that. I think Reggie is going to be here on Sunday.
It's what we've been told.
And we had him last year for the 73. We got Reggie Jackson right here on A's Cast for the 1973 celebrations. Folks, you need to come out. I've told a lot of you, I understand the circumstances. We all know it. But you should come out to the Coliseum at least one last time. If there was a date celebrating this team, especially for a lot of the older fans, celebrating a team that brought you so much joy, that is such greatness. They are one of the greatest cores and groups in Major League Baseball history. To really celebrate them one last time in the place where they won the championships, and you're getting a sweet jersey.
Yes. Even tonight, you come out tonight, you get this awesome Satchel Paige bobblehead, and a rocking chair. I mean, the MLB notes have the bobblehead in the notes. I mean, that's how cool it is. So, 59 years old, he pitched.
This will be obviously this will go on in our studio. Our road studio.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, for all the people that love the bobbleheads in the media and they put them on their desk for the different shows and everything, this is a bobblehead that's going to pop up on a lot of people. Kind of like the old Stephen Vogt referee.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to pop up on a lot of people's desks.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, Lawrence Butler is on his way up. Our player in the Treehouse. So Law is on his way up.
So, Lawrence.
The road trip signed the ball for us.
Look at that. That's from Fran Reardon. Is that for us? So Road Trip Mike saw Fran Reardon, and Fran Reardon signed a baseball to us. Is it going to have a hard time?
Yeah, it's okay.
Fran Reardon signed a baseball to us. And then he wrote on the baseball, "Forever a friend of the program."
You're damn right he is. Leader of men, the greatest manager in the history of Las Vegas baseball.
That means a lot. Fran means a lot.
I mean, guys
that
go
is
down.
Awesome. This also, look at all the stuff we're bringing home. This will be going on the home studio desk. I can guarantee you that. Tonight, when I get home tonight, I'm going to go out and put it on the desk tonight. The great friend. We need to get this glass case.
Yeah.
The great Fran Reardon, the leader of men.
We can ask Law about about how much Fran's helped him.
Well, I mean,
thanks, Road Trip. That was very nice.
See, look, Road Trip Mike. Look what he does for us on the road. Road Trip Mike is promoting A's Cast on the road, and it's absolutely fantastic. Fran, how about that? We got a signed baseball, forever a friend of the program.
He should have put the number of wins on there too. That would have been even better.
Are you going to tell us we're not connecting you to the entire organization when we have the AAA manager sending stuff to us? It just shows that's what this show does. It's more than just the big league level. It's the entire minor league system. It's the front office. We try and cover it all for you, and we will continue to do that long term. This is about the connection. This is why it's very important to have something like A's Cast Live, because we've done it the other way where we've just been the flagship radio station. It's not the same. It truly is not the same. The connections that you have inside the organization completely changed once we started doing A's Cast.
Oh, 100%. And just to get back Fran for a second, you could be a player coming up from the minor leagues or a player being sent down, and Fran will turn you around. Perfect example, Seth Brown, first get home run. I mean, Fran's going to get these guys in shape, and Vegas has been playing a lot better lately. But
you think that, and Fran's got to have a lot of tough conversations. I mean, you get sent down for a reason. You think that was a tough conversation with Seth Brown, who's getting sent down at 31 years old?
Yeah.
Seth Brown was a guy who was walking around supposed to be the power hitter of the team. These last 2 years were supposed to be the 2 biggest years of his career. He's now getting sent down at 31 years old. I don't know. Knowing Seth Brown, it probably wasn't a tough conversation, but in theory, you could see how it could be a really tough situation.
Oh, yeah, 100%. A veteran guy on the team who's a leader being sent down. I mean, it's going to be a tough conversation. But like I said, first game down there, it's a home run, so maybe he figures it out and he's back up in Oakland sooner than we think.
I don't know. It's maybe time the youth movement is here.
There's law. So
Lawrence Butler is going to be here in a second. Got to talk to Lawrence Butler about the ABS.
Oh, yes.
As I said yesterday on the show, I talked to Lawrence Butler and Tyler Soderstrom about it. We'll talk about it again here, how it's coming. You're going to hear from Mark Kotsay talk about it, how Mark Kotsay is a big fan of it. But that's we need to learn about it. And these guys, whoa. Hello, Lawrence Butler.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm excited you're back.
I'm excited to be back.
You should be.
I am.
The world's your oyster.
It is.
You know, I hated to see you go. I know you need to go down there and refine some things. What has changed from AAA back up here?
For the most part, really mindset. Just being able to deal with, the failure that comes with, being young in the big leagues and, just all of the all-around stuff. So, I kind of got to go down there, have some space alone, time alone, get back to being who I am. And, I'm just glad to be back and get a series win, first series back.
Yeah, I mean, people need to realize that there's going to be obstacles. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to get over those obstacles. And sometimes when you go down, the fact that you've now been up here, you tasted it, you knew what you had to do to get back here.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Just had to go down there. It's really like when you get sent down, you can either take it 2 ways, either be like, all right, I know what I got to do so I can get back, or you can kind of just sit there and mope and be mad at the world, for, just being down there. So, I kind of just had to go in there with a good mindset, like, all right, we're down here for a reason. You're a good enough player. You can easily make it back. You made it once, so you can go back again. And, just really grind and work on some things that you really need to work on down there.
And the guy you got to talk to, actually, he just sent us a ball. Fran Reardon signed a ball, has a special message for us.
Franny,
I mean, and he's the guy that's got to have that conversation with you, but he's going to do everything he can, and that staff, they're going to do everything they can to get you back up here.
Yeah, so as soon as I got down there, Fran put me in the office. He had to talk with me. He told me, like, I know you're good. You're good. Everybody in the org knows you're good. It's just come down here, it's a learning experience. You kind of had some struggles up there, but, it's all about your mindset. You come back down here, work hard, get your stuff done, and, you'll be back soon enough.
Yeah, I wanted to call you.
Yeah.
I wanted to call you and say, hey, man, you need to get your ass back here. Yeah. You're too good for that. And you are.
Yeah.
It's time for you to step up and just let it go. And I know it's easier said than done. And it's tough to do because you're finding your way. You don't always play every day.
Exactly.
But at some point, you got to let the talent take over because the talent's there.
And exactly. That's kind of what he told me. He told me when you go back up there, just be yourself. Don't let nobody, hold you back on your game. Just go up there, be yourself. Do everything you did down here. And, and just go out there and play ball. Everybody knows you're good and really talented, so go do it.
And it's hard not to stress when you go 0 for 4.
Yeah.
But hopefully you're back in the lineup the next day. But it's hard now. I mean, because there's going to be days where you go for 4. There's going to be days where you strike out. It's just reality.
Yeah, especially not knowing if you're going to play the next day. It takes a toll on you. But, you can't let that get in the way if you just, you got to keep grinding and just be mentally tough until you earn that spot to where you can play every day.
So we're learning now about the ABS, the electric strike zone. Mm-hmm. How do you like it?
I actually like it a lot. I like it better with the challenge system. So, so how the challenge system works is like, it's an ABS strike zone, but the umpire is calling balls and strikes. And then if you feel like the pitcher or the catcher feel like, the right call wasn't made, you can challenge it. And each team gets 3 throughout the whole game. So I kind of like that one better. It doesn't take the human aspect out of the game. Umpires still get the call, what they get the call. And then if you just feel like it wasn't a strike or it was a ball, you can challenge it. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. So, I kind of like it where certain calls where it's like obvious balls or like obvious strikes, you can kind of easily just challenge them. And it's nothing like, it kind of, bridges the gap between like player and umpire too. Because like we know y'all are going to mess up. It's hard, especially the way these pitches are moving, how hard everybody's throwing. It's hard to hit. So I'm pretty sure it's hard to call a game. So, and even if you challenge them down there, it'll always be like a mutual, like, oh, yeah, kind of just missed it, or I thought you was off a little bit. Sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you're right. You can be like, all right, I see how you were right. I can see how you were wrong right there. So
That's a good
like
point.
Yeah, exactly.
Bridging the gap of the relationship between you and the umpire, and adds a little drama for the fans, right?
Exactly, because, when they do it, when they call it, it's like 3-2 count, bases loaded. This might walk the game off. He calls a strike. You tap your head, challenge come. It's going to be like a good, minute before they show it on the board, so now you're looking at it, and they slow motion the pitch coming into the zone. And then it's like, if it pops up green, it's a ball. If it pops up red, it's a strike, and then everybody just goes wild.
Have you lost?
Oh, I've lost a couple. Because it'll be somewhere it's like, say this is the edge of the zone, and it's just touching it like that, and you're like, wow. Like,
because that's the reality of ABS. Yeah, exactly. The ball just any part of the ball has to be in the zone.
Any part of the ball just has to touch the zone, and it's a strike. So
has it made you understand, because every player – They do, my strike zone wouldn't be the same as your strike zone. Has it made you learn the strike zone better?
Yeah, it helps everybody learn the strike zone. I feel like that's what helps the hitters, pitchers, and catchers most. Like, just knowing what's a strike and what's not a strike. And, like, those balls that clip, those are just like 50-50s. Like, it's like, all right, I saw it out. It might be a strike, it might be a ball, but, like, that's one he's going to call, or that's one that should be called, so maybe I got to fight that one off. And then it's like you see it a little bit more out. You go, okay, I know now that's a ball for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's a great, almost educational tool.
Exactly.
And I know we talked yesterday with Tyler Soderstrom about it, and I know he feels the exact same way. When I mentioned Tyler Soderstrom and I think about Geloff, Jacob Wilson's coming, I start to think about this core. Tell me your thoughts about the core that you think this franchise is going to go forward with.
I love the young core we got now. Me, Zach, Sody. We added Daryl to the core, in the trade. We still got guys from my draft class and 2019 draft class, like Kyle McCann, Max Schumann. They came up here and produced really good.
Muncie's down there.
Exactly. You got Jay Willie down there, Muncie. We still got some good arms, JT Jen, Ryan Cusa. We got some guys down there. So, I feel like every year we're just going to keep getting better. And then before you know it, we're going to be the team that everybody wants to try to beat in the playoffs. So, I'm excited about this young core. I'm just ready for all this to get up here. I'm ready for us to take off. That's really what I want. I'm ready for us to take the next step and, just, play good ball consistently. Not just have spurts of winning and losing, but we're always having competitive games. We're winning them close games. We're finding a way to pull out those one-run games.
Yeah, I've talked about this with you. I've talked about it with Geloff and Soderstrom and everything. You're drafted by the A's. You're raised in this organization. You've now come up. What does the athletics organization mean to you?
To me, it means a lot because, they were the team that gave me a chance. No other team wanted to draft me. So, the A's were the first ones to say, hey, we think this kid could be a big leaguer, and, we want to give him a shot. So, for me, the A's mean a lot to me just for, giving them giving me the opportunity, to live out my dream. So, the A's mean a lot to me. I will always be thankful for the A's for, everything they've did for me. And, I always love the A's.
How much bingo have you played before in your life?
I've never played bingo. Only in, elementary school.
Yeah.
When they kind of force you to play bingo, you got to put the stickers on the spot. That's about as much as bingo I've ever played in my life.
Well, you're about to call some bingo right now.
Hopefully I can win some people some prizes. I'm all about giving, so I hope I can give some people some prizes and stuff like that.
And it's like Oprah. You get a car. Exactly. You get a car. You get a car. Now you're going to be like, you get free merch. You get free merch.
Exactly.
Well, because you've watched this show, you know how much we believe in you.
Yep.
And I can't tell you guys enough I know I always like to point it out because sometimes this is a game of failure. It is what it is. It's tough. It's an absolute grind. Sometimes you need people to tell you, hey, man, you can play.
Yeah.
You can play. You're
You know,
legit. You can play.
Yeah, because, just
it's in there.
Dealing with that failure, sometimes you might have a couple doubts. So, those people that, help you get back on your feet, like you guys do a great job with this show. I've been watching y'all's show since I've been in low A. So, this is a great show. Making sure y'all always shout out the prospects. Anybody that's doing good, no matter rank or anything, if you're a good player, y'all make sure that, the A's fan base know it. So, I really appreciate y'all for doing that.
I see next year the Lawrence Butler Show brought to you by the law firm of.
I don't know.
I don't know the law firm yet, but that's how I see it.
Figure out
the Lawrence Butler Show brought to you by the law firm of.
Any sponsors out there? I mean, hey.
When you look like a star, you play like a star, you can be a star.
You can be a star. They look good, play good, they pay good.
And get paid good. The law firm of, boom, I see the show next year.
Right there.
Trust me, I'll have it in the works.
Yes, sir.
You're the best, buddy.
Towny.
Be well. We got more coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
Trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family. Grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Throws and set. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
We're almost halfway through baseball season, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the newest product of the season, Topps Baseball Series 2. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intended and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
With the sunshine returning, it's time for golf, and more golf at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Cinnabar Hills is also your destination for great food with their beautiful renovated restaurant and quality craft beer selection at their full bar. Featuring a grass driving range and 27 championship caliber holes, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club is the best public course in the Bay Area. For more information, go to CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
Ever wondered what a 30-foot tall pistachio looks like? A giant redwood or Big Sur? Chevron with Techron will be there to help you see them and tons of other places you have to see to believe. Because with unbeatable mileage and a clean engine, cars feel great. So next time you want to fill up on a little adventure, an awkward family photo, or a new commute to work, make sure to fill up at Chevron's along the way. Your car and your memories will thank you. Chevron with Techron, fueled by possibility.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland, and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
And the underdogs, Oakland Athletics, win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, three-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ-for-me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
All right, so the Renegades, it's like a day of prizes. We've got the bobblehead tonight. We got the baseball signed to us from Fran Reardon. God, why can't that come into focus? But anyway, Fran Reardon signed a baseball for us, forever a friend of the program. And then now the Renegades, who've been traveling around with Road Trip Mike, have given us a doctor's coat with Dr. Emo on it, courtesy of George in San Francisco. But the Renegades have given us, I got to go give this to Scott Emerson. We got to get Scott Emerson to wear the doctor's coat that says Dr. Emo on A's Cast Live. What do you think, Commander? Uh-oh, Commander's got issues. Guest coming up, Ken Korach, the voice of the Oakland Athletics, is going to be here coming up at 5:10. And then we will have the Mark Kotsay show. Just a couple of things to get into, talk a little baseball. I've got a note on Joey Estes that I want to throw out here for you. I've told you I like Joey Estes, but obviously lately on the road, he has had his struggles. But this note is something that should make you feel a lot better. Joey Estes at home, 1-0 with a 2.70 ERA versus what he has done on the road is an 8.02. So if he can build on that, the guy you got to look at, Royce Lewis, come today, 9 home runs in 15 games this season. You're going to need to circle him. We're going to talk to Mark Kotsay about that and how tough it is to pitch to the Minnesota Twins. Soderstrom, 4 of his 5 home runs this year have come in the last 10 games. That is an interesting note to watch him grow. We're going to talk to the manager, Mark Kotsay, about that. And Geloff starting to look like Zach Geloff again with 3 home runs in 3 straight games.
We do have some, we've been playing with the StatCast stuff. So here's Zach Geloff's home runs from the last 3 days.
All right. So you can see these home runs. Hanging slider inside in the yellow, but being able to drive the ball to center field, being able to pull the ball. Because the one thing about Zach Geloff is when he's going to center field or right center, that's when you know he's on his game. You've seen him beat a lot with fastballs this year. Hopefully that is a trend that is going to stop. But Zach Geloff, 417 in the series against the Royals. He's got his average up over 200 now. And the thing for Zach Geloff is that at the end of the year, if you look at Zach Geloff and he's got over 20 home runs, everything he does, it's a game of math, right? So if he hits more, average goes up, slug, on base, OPS plus, get everything up, and hits over 20 home runs, you'll be able to go, sophomore slump early, but he really turned it around.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to see that, and Mark Kotsay talks about it, and you'll hear from Kotsay in about 30 minutes or so. So it's good to see Geloff get going, but more importantly, don't worry about me. Let's bring in another Hall of Famer. I mean,
all right, another Hall of Famer. If we have to bring on another Hall of Famer, so be it. So be it. Bombshell article dropping today on The Athletic.
Mr. Townsend.
As we said, we're bringing a Hall of Famer. A bombshell article, but it's 16 pages long.
A bombshell article.
About how bad offense is.
Yes, well, yeah, it's not great.
From our guy, Eno Saris, our national baseball columnist here for A's Cast, and Jason Stark, also a Hall of Famer. I'm going to read it tonight. It's going to take some time. 16 pages. Ken, when's the last time
I read 16 pages.
No, of like a pamphlet. Were you a gaucho? I think I was a Spartan last time I did that.
Yeah. Well, the average team batting average is like 240, right? Is that what it is? I mean, it's way down.
Everything is way down, but my question is, because I got questions, right? That's
right.
What you do as a journalist. My question is, if the offense is starting to go to record low levels, then why aren't the pitching numbers going to record low levels too?
Right.
They're not.
Yeah, and I think I told you a while ago that I think the offense will heat up when it warms up.
Yeah.
And I still kind of hold to that, but the game has changed. The pitching has changed. I think one of the things that we focus so much on is velocity for good reason. And if you're a hitter in this era, you're going to face a starter, maybe 2 or 3 relievers, and they all might be throwing 97, 98. That's hard to adjust to. You're seeing a lot of spin. I mean, you're seeing more spin. I don't know how to quantify this, but look at the game yesterday. And Seth Lugo, the spin master with the spin rates on his curveball. Mitch Spence spins everything.
Everything.
So I think you're seeing a real emphasis on a lot of spin. And I think that combined with the increased velocity, to me, has made it
makes sense.
Made it tougher on the hitters.
It makes sense, but here's where I come in and go, I have to question some things because we used 863 pitchers last year in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to blow by that this year, so we're using record amounts. Not everybody's got great velocity. Not everybody's got great spin. The average of ERA right now is 4. So why would record lows not be happening with the pitchers too? I wonder what is just so tough in the end is just the amount of different guys we throw at these hitters every single night.
Yeah, and you're also seeing a decent number of home runs. So I don't know if home runs are down or up this year. I should know. But batting average is down. But you're still seeing teams like even the A's.
Slugs down.
The A's are 14th in the American League in batting. In runs scored, they're at the bottom of batting, but they're 5th in home runs. The A's have a chance, an outside chance if you project it, to hit 200 home runs this year in a year in which they have not scored many runs. So I think as it pertains to the A's, and one reason they've really struggled against the Mariners recently, the Mariners throw a lot of strikes. See, if you take the walk away from the A's, and the A's don't get a lot of hits, so now what are you left with? You're left with the long ball. And that's why I think the A's last 5 or 6 games, the A's offense has picked up. It picked up in the Royals series, and I think one reason for that is Miguel Andujar, because he gets on base and he gets hits.
He hits.
He's hitting 330.
He hits.
And you and I have talked about this a lot on those post-game shows and the pregame, that if you have I still believe in batting average. Other people may not. I still believe in batting average.
I had the question today, and because when you even talk home run, slugging percentage is down. All the numbers are down
So
this
why
year.
why are the ERAs not down?
Exactly.
Why is that?
I think because it's all about the variety of all the different pitchers. You have so many pitchers that you're throwing at guys, and they're not all great, but just the variety. I asked this question: what will a good baseball player be in 10 years? If they fully go on board where batting average doesn't matter, hits don't matter, and just basically it's home runs or bust, what does a great player look like in 10 years?
That's not a great game either for me, right? It's just not. So I think they were hoping with the elimination of the shifting to have more balls put in play and higher averages, right? So that hasn't quite happened yet.
And Mark Kotsay coming up here is going to talk to us about it. You can tell he's frustrated with it. His whole thing is he's not really – he'll give the pitchers some credit. He thinks it's the training of our players, that our players don't have back control.
Right.
They've got one swing. They're not able to hit in all different quadrants of the strike zone.
And the A's strike out a lot, too much.
And the guy who does hit in every quadrant, Andujar.
Right, yeah.
And when he shows up, it's like amazing how much he stands out. He shows up and hits, and it's like, wow, you forget what it's like.
And especially your speed guys have to put the ball in play because good things happen. It's a cliche, but if you can run and you strike out a lot, you're taking away one of your tools. You know, the run tool comes into play if you put the bat on the ball. And, I mean, we've been preaching this for years, right? But too many strikeouts right now for the A's.
A lot of the young guys showing promise right now. Let's start with Geloff. 3 home runs, 3 straight days. He's just starting to look like himself again.
He is, and I think the other thing, too, is that when he gets on base, he makes things happen. So the A's are a better offense when he gets on because he can really run. He's really good when it comes to the stolen base. So it helps you to manufacture runs at a time when you really need that when you're struggling to score runs. So Geloff, who's productive, helps the A's offensively, Towny, in a lot of different ways.
No doubt. Size and speed, something you can't teach. And
he's a big kid, too.
Yeah.
You don't realize it.
And then you look at Tyler Soderstrom, just 22 years old. When's he going to hit? Well, he's starting to hit for power.
He is. He had 1 hit in the Kansas City series, but who cares? He's had a really good June. And I think, and I mentioned this, I talked about this with Kotsay today, too, that I think that the A's have a chance to have a pretty good offense in the second half because that trio of Blade, Andujar, and Rooker, 2, 3, 4, they've been pretty good. I mean, there have been times when they've been almost elite with extra base hits like Blade, Rooker with the OPS, and obviously we've talked about Andujar. Rooker could be an all-star again this year. Former Twin, by the way. And then if you add in Soderstrom coming into his own, Geloff's getting hot. They have a couple other spots, I think, where they need more production. But I think there's a decent little core foundation of better offense that's in play right now for the A's.
Can we get that metal drum, take Soderstrom's catching gear, put it in, lighter fluid, and
yeah, first base.
Burn that.
First base, his spot, yeah.
As much as I loved Ryan Noda because he got on base, Ryan Noda has struggled to hit down at AAA. And now watching Soderstrom play first base, knowing the kind of he's a good athlete for his size.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to see not having Soderstrom in the lineup every day and not at first base.
Plus you have Langoliers and McCann gives you a lefty option. And the A's have Susak coming up. He's in Double-A, got off to a tough start, but now he's been producing for the last 6 weeks or so down at Midland. That's your number 1 draft choice from a couple of years ago, and so they're going to have to find a spot for him at some point if he continues to develop. And a couple of years, he'll be knocking on the door, at least hopefully from the A's standpoint, as far as getting some time behind the plate.
All right, let's talk a little baseball history. We haven't had our chance to talk to you about Willie Mays and the passing of Willie Mays. Obviously, you got to see a lot of Willie Mays back in the day. Truly one of the great players. Rickwood yesterday, the game at Rickwood Field was really special.
That was cool.
You saw Willie Mays play. He was a special player.
Saw him play a lot, and as you and I have talked, as a kid growing up in L.A., the Dodgers only televised 9 games back in Mays' prime, and those 9 games were at Candlestick Park. So it was like a holiday when the games were on TV. Through the fuzz and the black and white, and there was no cable TV back then, right?
Get that antenna, you got to move that damn thing. Yeah.
We lived out a little bit away from the heart of town, so it didn't always come in depending on the channel. But I mean, there have been so many things written and said about Mays. I'm not sure I can add a whole lot more, but the thing that stands out to me is that he just played with such a joy. It was a joy to watch him play, and I think Mays has even. He said this many times. He wanted to entertain the fans, and he did. The way that he played, I mean, he was an incredible player. 660 home runs and batting average over 300.
3,000 hits.
24 All-Star games and a dozen Gold Gloves and all that. But he just entertained you. You wanted to fall in love with baseball because of the joy that Mays played with. And he also made a big impact off the field, especially in his later years with the charity work and his foundation and the things that he did for kids in the Bay Area. And so it was, and that the whole, really was emotional because I was watching the AA game on Tuesday night at Rickwood. Birmingham and Montgomery were playing, and they wore the old uniforms and stuff as the Giants and Cardinals did yesterday. And when the announcement was made by my friend Rich Waltz, who was doing that telecast for MLB Network, it was really emotional. And this hit a lot of people, many people across the whole spectrum of people around the country, Towny. It hit pretty hard when it happened.
Yeah, he was.
And the Dodgers and the Giants was such a huge. I mean, in the 60s, that was.
Coming out west together in 58 from New York.
They didn't like each other a whole lot, so. There was a heightened sense of drama when the Dodgers played the Giants back then.
And one of the things about Willie Mays' career, and I brought this up with Marty Lurie, who we had on from Birmingham, he was there for all the festivities, was Mays averaged like 154 games played a year.
Yeah.
He went to the post year in and year out. I understand we want to talk about mental health and we want to talk about not grinding guys into the ground. But the yesteryear great players, they played every day. They took pride in playing every day.
And he didn't back off because he stole over 300 bases, too. He was running the bases and stuff. So, I mean, really, really special to grow up in those days. David Feldman has a great note today regarding yesterday's game with the A's losing 3-2. Not sure if you heard this or not. The last time the A's lost a game at the Coliseum, in which they were beaten 3-2, and the 3 runs for the opponents came on solo home runs. It was in 1976 here, and the game-winning home run, the third of the 3 for the Brewers that day, was hit by Henry Aaron.
Really?
It was this 500. I have it written down. It's like 550. I mean, 750, right? 750. Something like
755.
that. Yeah, I think it was 750. I think in that series, we'll have it on the broadcast. He hit 750 and 751 at the Coliseum in that series for the Brewers against the A's.
See, I can't steal that from you. I got to let you have
That's
that.
Pretty good note from Feldman. Yeah.
How about you want me to ask you that? Are we today?
I think you've got Vinny today.
Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
You will not hear that in the pregame show. I will not bring it up.
But Mays' last hit was here at the Coliseum.
Yeah, playing for the New York Mets in the World Series.
73. Game
it's
2.
Still like all of that happened before, right when I was born, and all that. There's so much Mays' career. But even for me, I cringe when I see Mays in a Mets uniform. It's like, God, that doesn't seem right.
I guess of all the teams that he could have gone to, the Mets, that was appropriate, considering that when the Mets were born, they took the colors of the Dodgers and the Giants for their uniform. So, and they retired his number at Citi Field.
Did they?
Yeah, they retired 24. The Mets retired number 24
in honor
honor of Mays,
because they did take their colors from the Dodgers and the Giants.
They did. Yeah. Orange and blue.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did.
All right, I want you to expand on this. I brought this point up. I thought it was a pretty good point that when a Willie Mays passes away, or we talk about, Babe Ruth or Ted Williams or Henry Aaron, the greats, it's like they're no longer physically with us, but in baseball, more than any other sport, our greats never leave us.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. John Shea has done some great reporting. He had the wonderful column that he wrote about, even though if you didn't know Mays, he was still your friend. So the memories are indelible. And I think it's partly because of the fact that baseball has always been the summer game, and it was every single day. So if you were really a fan of baseball, pretty hard to be a fan of baseball and not immerse yourself in the game every day for 6 months. And so I think those memories become even more enhanced because of that.
And then that's why you're the voice of summer.
Well, occasionally. Yeah.
I mean, you taught me yesterday that yesterday was the first day of summer.
It was the first day
I
of
didn't
summer.
know that.
Well, you should have known. You didn't need me to tell you that.
I didn't know that. I still thought I was in spring. I didn't realize it was summer.
When you really made an impact like those guys have, and I think we can talk a little bit about radio, that when those guys were in their primes, radio was the medium.
Was king. Newspapers.
And newspapers. And so radio allows you to use your imagination a little bit more. And you conjure up your own images instead of having the TV show you the images. And so maybe that brings it all home a little bit more because of that.
Who was your Mays growing up?
Well, I growing up in LA, I mean, we all loved Koufax, but I was more of a Giants fan than a Dodger fan.
Growing up in LA?
I grew up in LA.
What?
Yeah, I really was. And I don't know, my dad
was that allowed?
My dad was not a Dodger fan. So you kind of follow along with your dad when you're that age.
Who did your dad like?
Well, it's funny, you kind of adopt a certain player. I really liked Jim Ray Hart. Remember Jim the third baseman for the Giants? Yeah, I love Mays, obviously. And then when the Angels were born, I became a real Angels fan. So, I mean, I guess my favorite player when I was a kid was Elgin Baylor.
Your hoops
and
guy.
I wore number 22 whenever I could, or 23 for Maravich or something.
Then we could go to how tough was Jerry West passing away?
Yeah, he had a chance to interview West when I was doing UNLV's games, and he was doing all of his front office work in the NBA. But Jim Fregosi was my guy.
Jim Fregosi.
Jim Fregosi was my guy with the Angels. And in 1962, the Angels' second year of their existence, they were in first place. They beat the Orioles on July 4th, and they were in first place. And Fregosi was just a kid, although he was a really good player back then. And so then he manages the Blue Jays, and I get a chance to interview him before
Did you tell
a game.
him?
I did tell him, yeah.
What did he say?
I think he was kind of cool with it. You know, Jimmy didn't betray a lot of emotion with that kind of stuff. He was great. He was really great to talk to. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure he had been told. I wasn't the first person who told him that.
Well, your dad was in Los Angeles well before the Dodgers showed up.
Well, he was born in 1919.
Yeah.
So he was born in Akron, Ohio, but he was in L.A., of course, during the Depression and all that. So
Who was your dad's team?
Well, in those days, you had the Coast League because there wasn't, I mean, in the late 20s and 30s and 40s, you really weren't exposed much to Major League Baseball if you lived on the West Coast. And so the Coast League, a lot of people kind of identified with the Coast League almost like the third major league.
Yeah, the
you go back
Padres,
over
the
in the
Angels
Seals and DiMaggio and all that. there were some incredible players in the PCL. So my dad would go to Hollywood, to Gilmore Field, and watch the Hollywood Stars, or he would go to Wrigley Field in downtown LA and watch the LA Angels, if you could afford it. I mean, those times were a little more difficult, coming out of the Depression and things like that. And then, of course, he went into the war in World War II.
It's got to be for young fans to go, wait a minute, what? There weren't major league franchises? Yes,
Yeah.
the Minnesota Lakers didn't get their name. I mean, the Los Angeles Lakers didn't get their name because there's lakes in Los Angeles. They came from Minnesota.
The Minneapolis Lakers with
Yeah.
George Mikan. Right, they had some great teams there. And then, so anyway, a little bit of history there, I guess.
Some
right?
history lesson, kids. Google
Yeah,
it. You
right.
can Google everything. Your phone, your tablet, your phone, and you can watch and listen to
And
A's
then
Cast.
the Warriors in 1962 came from Philadelphia, and their broadcaster was a young man named Bill King. In 62.
He came with them from Philly?
No, Bill had already been here.
Oh, that's right, because he worked Giant games.
He started
with Lon Simmons.
And Russ. He wasn't with the Giants in their first year in 58, but he joined the Giants broadcast in 59. And then especially when because Lon was doing the 49ers on radio. And that's why Bill had a great call in 62 with Ed Bailey hitting a home run that kind of catapulted the Giants into that 3-game playoff against the Dodgers, which the Giants won in 62, which got them, of course, into the World Series against the Yankees.
Was it as good as – and he says, get your big butt off the field, Madden.
But Bill was with the Giants for 4 years. He did Cal before he did the Warriors.
Well, he worked with Lon doing news radio, right?
Yeah, right, on KSFO. The old Golden West Broadcasting, which was a Gene Autry company.
The Cowboy, Gene Autry,
and
former owner of the Angels.
KMPC in LA was the Angels flagship. And, they were like a radio conglomerate back then.
And for some of you who may not know, their name was the California Angels.
They were the LA Angels initially.
And then the California Angels.
Whatever. I've lost track of all their their names.
Of Disney,
right.
Anaheim, back to Los Angeles.
Right. Yeah.
But we're Orange County.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's end on this. I say this to people, and they don't believe me. They have to go check the schedule. Monday is going to be game 81, the first time we see the Angels.
That's correct.
We have not seen the Angels
Anaheim.
this year.
That's right. And you're only going to play 13 games against them, but they're all going to be in the second half. So I kind of miss playing 19 games in the division. I might be an outlier when it comes to that, but I miss it.
I think you're kind of out. Yeah. You're not into interleague play.
Not a big fan. No, I'm not.
You're kind of,
I mean, I like playing games in your own league. But, I will give you when the Dodgers played the Yankees in New York.
Pretty cool.
It was pretty cool last weekend. Yeah, it was a big deal back there, right?
By the way, big day for us. Fran Reardon sent us a ball, signed it, and then forever a friend of the program.
That's awesome.
We're covering the entire system, Ken, which just not
as you should.
Just not the big club. We cover everybody.
Hey, Colby
here.
Thomas got called up to AAA, man.
Could Colby Thomas be the next? How much time we got? All right, how about this? I came up with this last night. I talking with a right field. James and I were on the phone last night. I was talking with one of our good friends. I was like, all right, I could see Toro at third. You're going to have Jacob Wilson's going to be the shortstop. Let's just stop. He's going to be the shortstop. Geloff
if he
at
can
second.
Get healthy, right?
Right. He's going to be he's the shortstop.
Right.
Geloff at second. Soderstrom at first. Left, you'll have Andujar. Center, you're going to have Blade. Catcher, you're going to have a McCann. You're going to have Langeliers McCann duo. And in right field, whether it's Lawrence Butler, who was here, Colby Thomas, at some point, my man crush is coming, Henry Bolte.
Yeah.
Those guys will fight. I look at that and I go, that's something I can sell.
Where do you have Muncy playing? Do you have Muncy making the club?
Muncy could be
you
utility
fit him in
guy,
there playing like different places and stuff.
Yeah, Max Schumann has shown he can be,
Yeah, okay.
But
I'm with you on that.
Right? And
I
this
think
Colby Thomas,
third
round pick, is he's shooting up the
he's
ladder quick.
He's got big power. He's showing it anyway in Double-A. And as Bobby Crosby will tell you, the Coast League, you can kind of temper your enthusiasm because of some of the numbers. Not in Midland. Midland's a tough place to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And so if you can hit, I mean, he was on like a 30-homer pace this year in AA. If you can do that playing in Midland half your games, that's pretty legitimate power, they say.
All right, you have a golden ticket, like Willy Wonka's golden ticket.
Okay, buddy.
Anytime.
All right.
Anytime you feel like you just want to rap.
You're the mayor of the Treehouse out here.
It's been a long time. It's fun to come out here again.
Yeah, no, they love you out here, as they should. I mean, you're big out here, man.
Well,
all right.
We are what we are.
It's been fun.
All right, the great Ken Korach right
buddy.
here on A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend. I'm proud to announce our year 2 partnership with Link Soul. They've changed my wardrobe, and they can do the same for you. And right now, their spring collection is fabulous. Natural fabrics and versatile styles, perfect for this time of the year. And they want to introduce their performance line for golf, premium for on-course apparel design, and to keep you cool and dry. Check it all out, linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com. Remember, look good, play good.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Being a Chevron car these days has been quite the adventure. Miami to Seattle, ocean to ocean. I've stopped at so many states and collected so many bumper stickers. Sometimes I feel like a moving passport book. It's just so great what I can do with Chevron with Techron, because it gives me unbeatable mileage and keeps my engine clean. Plus, there are so many Chevrons along the way. Now the only thing I'm worried about is where to go next and where to put all my new bumper stickers. Chevron with Techron, fueled by possibility.
We're almost halfway through baseball season, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the newest product of the season, Topps Baseball Series 2. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
If you haven't been to the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek, what are you waiting for? You're going to love the new menu, and it's a great place to watch all the games. Come taste their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. They have a new spring menu with special dishes and a full bar with new delicious spring cocktails. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next corporate party or birthday celebration. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Nestled in the hills of San Jose, minutes from Silicon Valley, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club offers 27 holes of championship golf, a first-class pro shop, practice facility, and great food in the grill. This time of year also means family and business get-togethers. Let the folks at Cinnabar Hills make your event unforgettable while enjoying their award-winning venue. It's all there for you. Championship golf, a great space for any events, and incredible food. See it all at CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intendant and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family, grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Rose and Seth. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Looking to stay up to date on all things A's? Head over to athletics.com/A'scast. That's athletics.com/A'scast to listen to A's baseball in full 24/7 coverage of the A's, only on A's Cast. With a single click, you can stream great shows, live pre- and post-game coverage, and of course, all the great action of the A's this season. Head to athletics.com/A'scast today.
We're almost halfway through baseball season, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the newest product of the season, Topps Baseball Series 2. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
Streaming from Ricky Henderson Field, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Well, it's moments like this that I can tell you that the final games here at the Coliseum are going to be very emotional. As when we go to commercial break, we have a lot of fans who come up and we have conversations, and a nice lady just came up and talked about the Fan Fest and introducing her and her niece to the Doolittles, and the daughter ended up being a part of the Doolittle wedding, and now the daughter's a lot older. I mean, oh my God, it's tear-jerking stuff. So it's when we come out and we see the fans here at happy hour, and people come up and tell their stories and their love of the franchise. Man, these last games are going to be hard. They're going to be very emotional. And it's okay. We'll all shed a lot of tears because we've all spent a lot of our lives out here. And I hear it all the time, and from a lot of Raider fans, A's fans, Warriors fans. This property right here, so many of us have spent a good part of our lives and spent a lot of time. A lot of people grew up here. You grew up as kids at the stadium, and you're now adults, and you took your kids, and your parents and your grandparents took you. So I just always want to recognize that, to let you know that we totally understand it, and we're going to be here with you through it and take you through it. It will be really emotional. It will be really emotional. But that's a long way to go. But I always like to let you know we are always thinking about that. That's always in the back of our mind and in our hearts. Is it time for the Mark Kotsay show? Kotsay wanted to do it from a different location. He's wanting to do different locations.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was a set designer and
batting cage. We're now talking about going up to the top of Mount Davis.
I can't wait to do that. I mean, that'll be. I mean, obviously we got to get the proper clearance, but once we get that, we'll go up there.
Proper clearance from who?
Well, we got to. It's gated off to get up there.
Is it?
Yeah, we got to ask our good friend Jason Silva, director of security.
It's been a long time since I've been up to Mount Davis.
I've never been up. Oh, I've been up there once actually.
It's high up there.
Yeah. So if we do it,
if you're afraid of heights, it's a.
Do we do it in the front railing, or do we do it at the very top and just have you and Kotsay sitting
go to the very top.
Yeah.
Because you got to have it, just show you how high it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Then after that, blow it up. Blow up Mount Davis. As soon as we leave, blow it up.
But this will be it. After Kotsay, we're done. So we're back on Monday.
Back on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's time for the Mark Kotsay Show. Time now for the Mark Kotsay Show right here on A's Cast Live and A's Cast, brought to you by Nest Bedding, love where you sleep. Check out their location in the Bay Area, or you go to nestbedding.com for your mattress, your sheets, all your bedding needs. Go to nestbedding.com. Kots, how are you?
I'm great. You know, they probably can't see the couch that we're sitting on in the office, but this couch actually rolls into a bed. And there has been nights where this bed has been in use.
No, you've slept
and
here?
it has been nest bedding that's been on this bed. So yes, I've definitely slept here a couple nights.
Okay, is it creepy?
There's a lot of sounds in this Coliseum that people would be very freaked out about. Both doors lock. There's deadbolts,
All
so
right.
you can lock yourself in. But yeah, late night losses where you sit in the chair and you just go back and kind of replay everything in your mind, and then it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and you got a day game at 12:35 on that Wednesday
Yeah, I
or
know.
Thursday, and Danville's a long ways away, so it's crash on the couch and wake up in the morning.
You know this place is haunted, right?
That's what they say. I think you might be right. We should interview like some of the clubhouse guys because Brian Davis also crashes, and I don't think he has locked doors. So yeah, you might want to check in with him.
The ghosts of the Raiders, the A's, and even the Warriors can creep over from the arena at night.
That's no joke. Yeah.
All right. So is that? I mean, I understand, but do you get a good night's sleep when obviously you're thinking about a lot, you're sleeping here, you're waking up, you're here. Do you get a good night's sleep when you do that?
No, not really. It's probably best I just get in the car and drive home. But I mean, obviously you spend a lot of time here. You guys know that. You know the amount of hours that we enjoy spending time here and trying to make sure we're prepared as possible and that we're still teaching the game and impacting that room in there.
How did this series win against Kansas City feel?
That felt good. Obviously disappointed yesterday to drop a 3-2 game where we had some chances. We lost really on 3 solo home runs, which, you don't normally lose on 3 solo home runs very often. But overall, coming off that road trip, which we all know how difficult that road trip was, and a lot of, late inning losses or walk-off losses, to reset on the off day and come out and win against a team that obviously has a winning record. They've been competitive all year. They're I think a game behind Cleveland or 2 games behind Cleveland, which shows that we still are competing. We're still preparing to win, and we're still playing to win.
Yeah, I mean, all those tough losses and the walk-off losses are really tough, but it says a lot. And they always say that the team takes on the manager's personality. There's no give. No one's giving up.
No, we're not going to give up. No, the focus is, just continuing to incrementally get better, to watch these guys and the successes of the young players like JJ Bleday and the year that he's having from last year to this year. You look at Zach Geloff and the start that he had to the year, coming off a year where we all felt like this kid could be an all-star this year. Things happen. Leagues make adjustments, and he's now had to make those adjustments, but he hasn't given up, and he's taken on this challenge. And, you guys saw over the last couple of days, Zach looks like Zach again, and we're hopeful that he can just continue to make these adjustments, continue to have the success, and finish the year off, going through something that was very challenging, but coming out successful.
I can see how judging a center fielder for you, since you've been doing it for so long as a player, that you're going to be critical. And I remember when JJ Bleday was traded here, I loved the trade. I've loved it. I was like, this is going to be a steal. It has made me look good. And I remember talking to you about it, and sometimes you weren't throwing out a ton of praise. It's like, to me, just knowing you and just listening to you, the way you've talked about it, I think he's really earned your respect.
No, he really has, and he's worked really hard at it. And he goes out, we have early work, early BP. He'll go out and chase balls. His instincts have improved dramatically. Feel for the game, feel for being in center field, pitch to pitch. You'll now see him moving, making adjustments, and that's what it takes to be exceptional out there, and really to be the leader of the outfield.
You look at the last 11 games for Tyler Soderstrom, and you're starting to see it. What are you feeling? What are you seeing? Because we don't see him as much as you do. Last 11 games, what's been happening?
Oh, I think he's, coming to realize like plate discipline is important. Pitch selection is equally important. They're not going to challenge him all the time. They're going to throw the slider down below the zone. They're going to try to elevate with 2 strikes, and really, not missing his pitch over the last 11 games, I think has been dramatically, or I should say has had an impact on his success. The maturation process, you see the body language, I think Tyler knows now that every aspect of his preparation to how he goes about playing the game to dealing with the failures of the game. We had a good talk in Minnesota when he hit a ball to left center that he thought was, possibly going to be a home run. It was caught. He started to walk off the field, and I immediately grabbed him in the dugout and said, "This is your next graduation process. You want to become a man. You don't walk off the field. You run off the field." And this kid's done everything I've asked him. He obviously has had, a lot to deal with in terms of the failures at the major league level. But we're seeing a kid in front of our eyes start to mature to really becoming a man.
And talking about struggles at the major league level, a big article today, and of course this will run throughout the week, but everybody's going to be talking about it from The Athletic. Our buddy Eno Saris, who comes on this program, it was with Jason Stark, right? And Jason Stark put out the article about how just offense is almost historically down. When you start to look at it, there's a lot of things, the way pitchers, maybe their stuff is better, but then I could counter that. Well, we're using more pitchers than ever before. Not everybody has great stuff, but they're throwing a lot of pitchers at you. So there's a lot of variety. Maybe the way we change, the way we train hitters, everybody's looking to drive the ball. I mean, when you look at it, you've got a ton of numbers, and I know you have opinions. Why do you think offense is down?
Yeah, I saw an interview with Bryce Harper. There was a panel. There was 3 or 4 people around, and they were asking him about his hitting and where he learned to hit. And he said, my dad used to flick bottle caps at me, and then he'd put the fan on, and they'd move, and you really had to use your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all been lost over the training aspect over the last 10 years when the internet became popular and people started studying hitting on the internet, and they talked about launch angle. And then you hear all the time, well, you can't hit the ball on the ground. You've got to hit it in the air. You've got to create launch. People forgot that, you still got to have some hand-eye, and you still got to use your hands to hit. And I think that's really been a lost art. I mean, I think the focus on, let's elevate the ball. Let's hit it, as hard as we can every time. Well, of course, that's the goal, to hit it as hard as you can. But you got to hit it. And the swing and miss rate right now in the game, to me, I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know it's elevated probably from when I played or when we, really focused on just being a hitter. And I think that art has been lost.
And when a guy like Andujar shows up and all of a sudden he's making a ton of contact, it stands out dramatically.
Yeah, he can hit any pitch in any count. He can barrel a baseball. He's only has 2 home runs and 100 at bats, but he's hitting 330. So which one would you rather have? I'd rather take the 330 hitter that can put it in play. Yesterday, RBI the other way on a pitch that, those things get lost sometimes in the analytics and in the data because they don't value it. And really you look at the offenses around the league that are successful. Cleveland, I bet their strikeout rate as a team is below 20%. And they put the ball in play. They give themselves a chance to score runs. They extend innings. They have some power. Jose Ramirez, Naylor, Quan can do something. Fryman, they got some power, but they definitely put the ball in play.
Yeah, and those are tough teams to go against that that you're not going to strike out.
And this is another team, Minnesota. We haven't, these guys don't strike out a ton either. So, Kansas City, we just got done with. They're generally not a strikeout team. We were able to have some success against them. But again, the offenses around the league, maybe the Yankees are an exception. But, for the most part, the successful ones have a batting average that is equal to or above 250, and they score runs.
When you have a guy like Royce Lewis coming in, who right now the numbers, he is red hot. He's hitting everything and hitting it out of the ballpark. How do you, when you go into a series like that, what is the treatment? What do you, they talk about circling a guy in the lineup. How do you stay away from somebody like that so he doesn't beat you?
Well, we got to stay away from him. We got to make him beat us to the big part of the field, which is, center field to the opposite field. So we'll do our best to you can't pitch around guys, but you definitely can pitch to guys and you find their hole. And that's another thing with the offense being down. The scouting is, and the information is second to none right now. I can remember playing when, you'd get a scouting report. This guy pulls the ball or this guy hits it the other way. It's very elementary. Now they know exactly where the hole is, what you can't hit, what you can hit. And the game plan is tailored to that. So for us, the Correa, Lewis, Santana, Larnach, those guys, we really need to do a good job keeping them in the ballpark and making them beat us the other way.
A lot of talk about the ABS, the electronic strike zone. Some people are scared to death of it. Some people love it. Different ways to use it, right? You can be full ABS where umpires are not making strike and ball calls. Then there's the challenge system. I've talked to some of your minor league guys who've come up from the minor leagues, how they like it, where you tap on the head to challenge it. What do you think in general? You interested? Into it?
I am, though. I'm totally interested in the challenge system. I think it'd be great. It's entertaining. The scoreboard lights up and the pitch comes in. It's like in tennis, right? And like you're sitting there watching tennis, whether it's in or out, and it's like misses the line by that much. You're like, oh man, like what a call. So I do think that there's value, and I think that at this point, umpires are doing everything they can. Velocity is greater in the game. It makes a difference, and I think if you went straight ABS, people are going to argue, oh, well, it's not going to be accurate. How are you going to know, height wise? Well, strike zone's not accurate right now. So you can't make everything perfect. If you're trying to make ABS perfect, it's not going to be perfect. Human beings behind the plate calling balls and strikes, they're not perfect. So if everyone's on board and we collectively think that it's going to, make the game better, then I'm all for it.
Let's end on this. We talked to your pitching coach, Scott Emerson, and Emo getting run from a game. It was great on camera in Minnesota. But he said, Kotz wears it a lot. And he felt like, kind of you need to speak up and kind of have your back. What does that mean when your coaching staff feels that way, that it should just always be you? Sometimes other guys got to do it.
Well, I am the leader. I'm the one that's got to get out front of it. But and I was yelling at him. But, once Emo took over, I just kind of enjoyed the fact that he was as passionate and as emotional as I've gotten in the past when I get rung. And it was great to see, those are his guys. And he went to bat for him, and he was right. And but again, I always go back to how difficult it is to call a check swing. And in this modern day and age, with all the technology we have, why can't we get some type of laser that shows the bat or a replay even on a check swing, like challenge it if you want to challenge it. So it's interesting.
I like the couch. It's comfortable.
Very comfortable. Yeah.
I don't recommend you sleep here, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I got yelled at, by the way, by my wife.
Did she get your?
Go home. Leave.
Great stuff. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good.
That's the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep. Go to nestbedding.com.
We're almost halfway through baseball season, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the newest product of the season, Topps Baseball Series 2. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.